Hey guys, Max19, welcome back to another tryout. Today's tryout is on, I believe it's pronounced Noita? Noita? Something like that? This is like one of those like unforgiving roguelike games, but in this one, it's got the procedural, like, pixel stuff, like destructible pixel environments, and you're a wizard. It's a wizard simulator. Glass cannon mage simulator, basically, with how easily you can die sometimes. The opening, getting into it, it's all pretty vague. It's just sort of like, here you go, here's the game. A little like opening thing, like a little cutscene thing, I think there was. And then you're just sort of into it, and it gives you the basic controls. Just like, basically like, here are buttons, hit them and see what happens, sort of thing. And you figure it out. You got, it's basically just like, you use your mouse to aim, at least, I believe this is only on Steam or PC or whatever. Use your mouse to aim, WASD keys to move around, and then there's some other stuff, like you can kick things with F. There's some other buttons that do stuff, but basically you're picking up wands and spells, and in between areas you can attach spells to different wands and stuff, and basically craft these like very powerful wands if you get, you've unlocked enough stuff. I don't know how things go the further you get in. I don't know how, if there becomes a way to start with certain things or whatever. But you start with 2 wands. One seems to have some sort of projectile on it. So far I've started with 3 different types of projectile wands, and then the other one has an explosive. It's, from what I can tell, it's either like a big bomb or sticks of dynamite, one of the two. Those are the 2 that I've started with. I've only done like 4 or 5 runs in it, and I've made it to the second area. I don't know how many areas there are, but I've made it to the second one. I made it to the second area twice, and I didn't get too far. Because what you're basically doing here is you're trying to just go deep into this mountain, it seems. Just descend into this mountain, and you go down, and eventually you find like a teleporter. This will teleport you some further in the mountain. And when you come out of the teleporter, you get like a interim area where you can do some upgrades. Like I said, change the spells on your wands and stuff like that. If you found spells or you found different wands, you can move spells between wands and stuff if the wands have more than one spell slot. And there's just different ways that the wands work that seem like, it's just interesting. And that probably is the most interesting part, that in combination with the destructible environments and how that all works. Because there's liquid physics, and there's different types of liquid that do different things that affect your character in different ways. Like there's an oil that if you get in the oil and you get like the sort of oiled debuff thing, you start to slide around if you stand still or you walk. You're slippery, and also you're flammable, and the fire physics is all really good. It's just like a cool thing. Like there's the way that like the systems work together to create an experience is very interesting. And having only played like an hour, I've not really gotten that far into it, especially with like what you can do with wands. There are so many spells on that list. And I know some of them aren't just, like, different spells, but different ways you can cast, like a triple shot rather than just shooting one thing at a time. But even, there's a lot of spells on that list that I haven't seen yet. And some of the stuff I've seen online of, like, other people playing and the crazy stuff that they've been able to pull off, it looks like something that's very interesting to play around with as you sort of play more of the game. You get like different items together, you make interesting spell wands, things that are crazy OP or like just way too destructive to even do. And I imagine the further you get, the more unforgiving the game will feel, because you are pretty squishy. On my last run where I died, I like walked into something that I didn't know what it was and instantly died. I'm like, oh, I guess I'm not supposed to walk into that. But there was also a situation, I can't remember if that was the same run, where I had opened something. I had blown open a wall or opened something, and suddenly this stuff started coming out. I'm like, oh no. So I get out of the way of it, and it's just like flammable gas. So I get out of the way, and then shortly afterwards, this whole area explodes. Like, had I not gotten out of the way, that would have killed me. I just would have been done. That run would have been over. And I think that's just sort of like, you're just so squishy that like you have to think a lot more about like where you're standing and what you're standing in, because there's even like some like different liquids that there's like a toxic sludge that if you stand in and you get the sort of toxic sludge debuff where you have the stuff on you, you just take damage. I don't know if it's like a certain amount of that or what, but you just take damage. And you see, you have to be like very careful with like where you're standing. It's very precise in that sort of way. And you gotta keep an eye on your surroundings, because you'll just die instantly. You're like, oh no, what happened? I don't even know what killed me. But like, that's sort of the fun of it in some ways, especially if like you die in like a crazy explosion or something stupid. But also, that sort of thing, as you get further into something, can get really frustrating if you got a good run going and you just, there it goes. But like, that's the whole thing with roguelikes. It's like people like them, is the challenge in the most part. So I think this one's got a lot unique about it compared to like other roguelikes with its systems, like the wands and the environments and how that's procedurally created, and it's, like I said, liquid and fire physics and that sort of stuff. I think all of that is very interesting, and I want to just play around with it more. It's a game. I want to play more of it. So, as you can maybe tell, this game past this tryout, I think it's really interesting. It's like, it's something that like, while I was playing it, like I was like, okay. I think that I could do some crazy stuff with this if I tried. And I was just sort of like exploding all of the things and knocking down lanterns to catch wood on fire just to watch it happen, because it's just like really good simulation of that stuff, and that in itself just to watch is fun. So I suggest if you're into that sort of thing, you can stomach roguelikes and you like that sort of like physics system stuff that I've sort of described here, check out this game, Noita, or Noita, I don't know exactly how it's pronounced. Check it out though, and that's all I actually get to end of it here. So if you like the video, hit the like button. If you dislike the video, hit the dislike button. If you're in the description, you find links to all sorts of places: Twitter, Patreon, Bandcamp, Redbubble, etc. Down links, click them, do the things you do there. Subscribe if you want to keep with us in other shows. Leave a comment. Have you played this game? Have you played other roguelikes, other games with this sort of procedural environment work and systems? Leave it down in the comments and share the video. Do the things. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!